broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I think I'm off beat. I'll catch up. Hold on. Yeah. I'll catch up. I'm catching up. Rock's back.
Back in the wind column again.
Wow.
Oh yes.
I'm fired up. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You gotta be fired up. Back in the win column. The Pats are back on track. Welcome to another edition of Patriots Wrap 360 alongside Jason Cherella and Kevin Finn. I'm Mike Conley. We got some special guests in the studio tonight because it is the holiday season. The holiday season is all about being with family. We have Bob and Lee Cherella joining us all the way from, I would say, frigid Massachusetts, but it's actually kind of warmer than it is here.
I know. It's kind of scary. They kind of want to go back already. Not much of a vacation, is it?
I bet.
And they came out with shorts. I had to go buy pants. It's not a good start.
And doubling up on clothes too.
That's awesome.
Layers.
Gotta have your layers. You know, I couldn't believe it when Lee said that. I had better rhythm than you in those first couple weeks.
So I love this.
I had to email her back and let her know that you're getting much better, and she had to see in person for herself.
Can I see?
That's why she came out.
Do you have any new moves here that we could show?
This is it. I'm kind of confined to a sitting position. That's why it's all upper body. You know, you want to get me on a full-length podcast, then I'll really show you.
I don't think anyone wants to see that.
No, well, that's for real.
That's why this
I
guest
want to
is here.
see it, Mike. What's happening?
Atta girl, thank you. So Patriots back in the win column. You gotta love it. Big win the other night at Gillette Stadium in Houston over the Texans, 27-6.
It's great.
What struck you as awesome?
Defense.
Right?
Ooh. Wow.
Even without the beast on there in defense, they still look pretty good.
Look fantastic, really.
And
how about
7 first downs for Houston Texans on offense the entire game?
That's huge. And their good performance kind of got overshadowed the week before because the special teams are so horrible. They only gave up 14 points that week too, and they're really kind of shaping into that early this century Patriots defense that Belichick was known for, that bend but don't break. Just give up three defense. I love it.
I think they're shaping up to be better than bend and don't break.
Okay.
They are really shoring up towards the end of the season a lot better than I would have thought.
We did a little breaking of some tissue maybe this weekend. Dominique Easley, another victim of the IR train that seems to be driving through Foxborough these days.
Yes, and we just can't seem to miss it. And obviously, LeGarrette Bronco's down too, so we lose 2 guys, and then the McCourty injury, which doesn't look like a season ender, but he looks like he will be out this week. Right?
Yeah, look, easily we have a little depth there. I don't think let's not ring the alarm just yet. They picked up, you're gonna you on the trainees, and not talking about the trainees outside Kevin's work.
Hey-o. Kev's working down in Santa Monica again?
We picked up Waddle, the offensive tackle, and Omashili Kitchen, defensive lineman.
Ishmaeli Kitchen, we sure did.
So I think
defensive lineman recently with the Browns in Detroit, I believe, last year for a cup of coffee. Yeah, I don't know too much about him other than he's 6'1", 330, which I kind of like.
Well, I feel like they had a lot of transactions in the last couple of days. Obviously, they jumped right on the running back situation with Blunt out. I think, like I've always said towards the first week we started this, running back was always I always thought we were hurting for the depth.
Right.
And when Dion Lewis went down, and now Blunt, which, we got Monty Ball.
Oof.
He's a little overweight right now, but
old veteran Steven Jackson in for a meeting today at Foxborough. What do you think? Any more tread on the tires on Steven Jackson?
I think we'll take whatever tread's left.
I think that's not going to happen.
It might be in the streets of Atlanta.
He came in for his cup of coffee, and he's moved on. Right now, we have 2 running backs on the roster.
Yeah,
Brandon Bolden and James White.
Right.
53-man roster is already filled up. So I have a feeling for this week we might just see this lineup of James White and Brandon Bolden with possibly running sweeps to Keyshawn Martin and whoever else.
Yeah, because all indications point that Monty Ball is not in shape. So he's probably on the practice squad for a little bit before
How
he gets
long,
a taste
though?
of the 53.
I don't think you keep him down there for very long. I think you got to get him up there and see what happens. I mean, if he shows any signs of picking up the system in the next couple of days, I think you might see a little of him against Tennessee.
See, that's the kind of panicked reaction I would expect from you, Jason. But
I mean,
luckily, Bill Belichick is coaching our team.
Let me ask you this: do you really want to roll Bolden out there and just?
I do. The guy's running harder than anybody we got on the team. He's running harder than LeGarrette.
I agree, but I don't think he's ready for that kind of role yet. I mean,
I don't think Monty Ball's ready to put down a Sega controller and step into the NFL
Or the Yodels.
But I'm pretty sure you won't be as hurt if Monty Ball blows a hamstring. If Bolden does, you're gonna, you'll be in here crying in a cup of.
It's true, but as I have to talk to you on the ledge each week about our depth at the running back position. You can find running backs. You can find skill position guys. You can't lose, obviously, number 12. That's the key. Okay? You keep him upright. You keep Belichick on the sidelines. We get a chance every week. And now we have the Beast Man back, 87.
Yeah, that made a big difference.
Huge difference.
Huge difference. I think I constantly think back to the Do Your Job documentary that I think all good Pats fans are pretty familiar with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's that quote in there that everyone kind of loves where Belichick kind of says, in 2011, Gronk was hurt. He had a high ankle sprain. The Giants win. The next year, he's got a season-ending injury. They get crushed by Baltimore, I believe. The next year, Gronk is out with another season-ending injury, and they get shredded by Denver, I believe. And, he said if they had Gronk, that would have been a different story. And I think this is kind of really important to have Gronk in our camp healthy the next couple weeks.
Absolutely. No question. And, I was a little apprehensive when they first said he was going to be out there. I was like, why? Why? Make sure that guy is,
I thought
100% or as close as you can get at this time of the year.
I agree. In fact, I thought it was some kind of play to get Houston and Bill O'Brien to kind of prepare for Gronk.
Wow.
They took care of that quickly, though, with that big pass. It was like the third play of the game across the field. Unbelievable.
That was one of those ones where you're like, no, because he's throwing against his body, and then it's like, oh, okay, dude fell down because you can't guard him with a linebacker.
And were you as nervous as I was when Gronk got the ball and started running?
Every time.
I felt like someone was going to take out his knee.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. And then I feel a little bit sorry for the guys that try and tackle him.
Right.
Just for a real quick second.
Do you minimize him a little bit in the coming weeks, Gronk?
Why, to try and make him a secret weapon?
I mean, if we go off past performance from Bill Belichick, he's going to keep the gas pedal down, and there is no stopping him. And I think this week we're not going to see anything different from that. We've got a chance the Pats win, Denver loses, we clinch the first round bye. And
the 2 seed.
No.
The 2 seed or the 1 seed?
The 1 seed.
Oh, really?
Pats clinched the first seed bye. And they're gonna put the hammer down this week. It's gonna be pulling out all stops. I think Gronk. They had him on a little bit of a restricted snap count, but I think you're gonna see a lot more of Gronk and a lot more of Keyshawn Martin. I think you saw a little bit of more to come, hopefully, from him. He made a couple mistakes early on, but I was pretty impressed with his overall play. Yes, he did muff that punt, but he had I think it was 4 returns that point to averaging 15 yards a return.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
And then he muffed the punt. I mean, he did have that my boy Brandon LaFell, he kind of stepped on one of his touchdowns there when he closed off Cummings on the end there, but and got the touchdown taken back there.
Right.
But he made 2 mistakes there earlier in the game. But other than that was a pretty clean game for Keyshawn Martin.
I've definitely been impressed with him. And this is kind of what we touched upon last week or the week before about the depth we will have developing,
Yes,
in wake of these non-season injury, any injuries really, but at least we're going to be getting, like, knock on wood, Edelman back, and then we'll have another weapon in the receiving game because this kid's got some snaps under his belt.
Well, I think another notable transaction when we're talking about the wide receiver is this Hankerson, Leonard. What's his name? Leonard Hankerson from Atlanta, who's 6'2", fast.
We picked him up.
Oh yeah, and
You sure about that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he's gonna provide over the. He's
Atlanta let him go?
Yeah, he was on injured reserve and he got waived. Wait, you guys are looking at me like...
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not sure. This
he had a
breaking
pretty good
news,
year.
ladies and gentlemen.
From
We
this-
have something.
And he's
yeah.
on IR. We're picking up guys that are on IR. Don't we have enough injured guys? We're picking up another guy? Or he's on short-term IR?
I'm not sure about that information.
This one...
Let me
You might take a couple minutes to machinate on yourself with there. Do
Let's
some
give
studying.
Junebug a timeout for a second. We'll just move on. So
This guy's on my fantasy team playing in the playoffs for Atlanta, and now all of a sudden he's on the Pats practice squad. I don't know. That's news to me.
at least that'll make you bench him, because he's been, as is everybody in the Falcons that isn't named Julio Jones, a real pain in fantasy this year.
Oh, you guys. Pats claim wide receiver Leonard Hankerson.
Wow, man.
I see that.
Nice.
Oh, really? Can
news.
we bring this back about 30 seconds?
Let's bring it back.
Some
Let's
applause.
bring it back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes up for the fact that, because I don't know about you,
apologize
Kevin.
that this is the first time that you've ever brought up anything that was legitimately up to date and current.
Yeah.
I apologize.
I don't know about you, Kev, but I was expecting to come in the studio today with some brand spanking new AFC East champion hats.
Yes.
Courtesy of Cape Ann Tuna Club. That might just be waiting here for us.
Right.
I don't see them.
Because we are
mean-
the AFC East champions.
It's true. After the Miami loss on Monday night, Bill Belichick was asked if there was any celebration going on at his house about 11:30 Monday night
Yeah.
when that happened. He said no, whole lot of sleeping.
That's right.
He was in REM at that point.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. That's why he is who he is, and we were up.
Dreaming of tunas, pulling them in off Nantucket.
Oh, man.
What about the new number 34? What do we kids think about?
Yeah, your boy that you mentioned last week, Leonard. What's his name?
Johnson.
Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I mistakenly called him a D end. You had him right at the corner.
He was hard to miss
Yes.
after his first play because we haven't seen a Patriots player dance like that in quite a while.
Yeah, quite
it
a
was
while.
clearly there was a little bit of the transition period that he missed in the Patriot way.
Yeah.
They had to give him the abridged handbook because he didn't get the one on dancing.
He didn't get a full orientation.
Well, it was funny when Belichick broke down the game with Zolak. He made mention of that. Zolak
Yes.
said to him, I've seen him. He's got some nice dance moves. He said, Belichick just simply says, hey, we're gonna have to slow that down. It was kind of odd.
I
to
mean,
see
if you
that.
slow down those dance moves, they're going to be even better. I'll be honest with you. They were pretty solid.
Yeah.
They were solid.
It was kind of shocking, right, to see somebody make a just a regular defensive play and to do a kind of dance like that.
Yeah.
I almost fell out of
It
my
was
seat.
definitely shocking.
Yeah.
Speaking of dances, LaFell's dance on the touchdown they called back, the whole thing was a little bit embarrassing. Why does he bother me so much? But
Yeah.
it's just
Because he drops balls.
He drops balls.
Word to your
you know,
moms, he came to drop balls.
He does it well. He does it well.
He does it. Nobody does it like Brandon. I can hear a faint clang every time the ball goes his way, and it's just like, But it was great having Gronk back there, especially on that first touchdown, man. And it was because Brady, just surveys the field. He looks out. He sees man-to-man coverage. I don't know if they call the audible low-hanging fruit, but I'd like to maybe throw that one out because maybe it's a little too wordy. But that's exactly what it
tough
was
to get
like.
out.
Low-hanging fruit. Pluck. 6.
Yes.
6 out way.
It's definitely loving
Courtesy of 87.
Very ripe fruit, too.
Oh.
Yeah, it was ripe.
You know what's funny? After that touchdown, so Gronk gets it. He starts celebrating. Brady runs up, obviously celebrating, and he runs over to him to give him like a high five. And Gronkowski puts his hand out and stops because of the excitement. He's like, I'll hug you, dude, but I'm not going to slap your throwing hand. Shrek was literally afraid to hurt him.
Oh, yeah.
You saw it, too, because he was like high five, and he was like, no, I'm not going to break your hand. I'm gonna hug you.
The
buddy.
kid, and you guys, people might be surprised to hear me say this about a guy like Gronk. He is always thinking. Like, you see him in his like post-game interviews or anything. He is always like, "All right, don't do it. Don't say anything you're not supposed to say."
Fighting his inner Gronk.
Oh,
He's
big time,
yes.
big time. But now he just lays out cliche after cliche, and I want to pinch his cheeks. He's like, from the school of Belichick, and I just absolutely love it because he could just say anything and maybe firebomb absolutely everything that's got going.
What would be coming out of the press conference if he was on another team?
Just gold.
Boy. If he played for Rex Ryan.
Oh man, we'd still have to cover him. We don't have to have a Gronk segment, regardless.
Not a Gronk playing for anybody else is really that's
it doesn't sit very well, does it?
Heresy.
Yeah. You know who else was pretty impressive this past week, and this defense keeps
growing.
Yeah, I mean, just studs are popping up every week.
Jamal Sheard.
Dude, Jamal Sheard is just a killer pickup. No doubt about that. I mean, he's just been incredible. What do you have?
Akeem Hicks, huge
unbelievable, huge game. And he's been playing pretty steady, but he finally kind of got in the sack column this week. He had a couple sacks, I think.
2 sacks.
Huge. Had that huge one of Hoyer.
Huge.
Was that a fourth down?
Was that the possible concussion?
Yeah. And all the best to the former understudy of Brady, Hoyer. I hope he is smart and has smart people around him, and they say, "Hey, chill."
Second one is the season.
Second one within a month. So it's like
a little googly gobbly on the sideline there.
Yeah.
He was searching
they got
for
a big
some
game
answers.
this weekend. I think you'll see him out there.
No way. No way, dude. No way. I mean, he's a tough guy, so I'm sure he'll want to be out there, but this concussion protocol, the concussion protocol is not going to allow him to play this week. I can't imagine. But, hey, we said on this very program if Gronk wasn't going to play, and then he was out there. So what do we know?
Gerard Mayo, possibly his best game of the season.
I like Gerard. He's like firing in there and getting penetration, especially on those like outside runs that have been kind of killing us.
Yeah.
He's kind of stepping up, and even if he doesn't make the tackle, he's bouncing it outside. And I love that guy. You know?
I mean, he's a Patriot.
He's a Patriot. And he's like, it's sad that he isn't the same player he is like, post injury.
Yeah, but he brings to the locker room what like Brewski brought back in the day.
No question.
And so he's more valuable than just on the field, And Ninkovich is always just beast mode out there.
Mayhem.
I mean that it's just that
10 seasons for Ninkovich.
Unbelievable,
10, 11
right?
seasons. For a body shape like that, he just looks like
doesn't make a peep.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I love the guy. Also,
it was nice to
mad
see,
props
to
Logan Ryan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, probably a number one star of the defense. Him a Shared.
I mean, look, that secondary is looking good. I mean, it was great to see this guy Leonard Johnson. I mean, it was like, how is this? I feel like he's been there for 3 years. I mean, the way the chemistry and everything that was going on, they were switching audible and they were picking it up. And
another Rutgers guy.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how they're kind of using the combination. They're putting Butler on the number 2 receiver and kind of giving help behind him to the number 1, and it looks a little bit kind of like the Revis Browner situation that they got themselves into last year, which is ended up obviously working out pretty well.
Yeah,
and obviously it's still they're still a fluid work in progress back there, but they looked awesome this week.
It seemed like it's morphed into that, over these past couple weeks, because like first game out of the chute, they had Malcolm on Antonio Brown, and he covered Marshall, so he's he's covered some of the big guys.
Shifted
but now
it's
like, and I think that says a lot to be about Logan Ryan. They have a lot more confidence in that guy, and that was that guy that when we drafted him and his boy Harmon, third round picks on him. These third round picks I want to have actually heard about, or second round picks or whatever back in 2013, and I'm just like, oof, when are these guys going to stop playing? But the answer is 2015 is when they're going to stop playing, because Harmon's going to have to step up now too with McCourty. He's going to be in a starting role.
Harmon is going to see a lot more playing time.
Well, yeah, now he is.
He's got a high ankle sprain, McCourty, and that's not going away anytime soon, unfortunately.
And get him right. Get him right for the playoffs.
That's right.
That's what this is all about. I'm not a big fan of sitting guys to sit them to make sure they don't get hurt in that next game. But if they're injured, if you can point to an injury, even no matter how minimal it is, But I think it's just bad mojo if you sit healthy guys just to keep them safe.
I agree with you.
Helping the Colts back in the Caldwell when they were
exactly.
I agree with you, but I feel like this season has just been injury after injury after injury. And so I feel like, okay, let's just say the Patriots do clinch first seed. You have 2 games to play with here, so. Can we not treat these a little bit of like a preseason to the playoff?
No, he is not going to do that. He's not going to back off that. I'm talking about Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And I think as far as practice, you're seeing him. They went in pads today. They went in pads last Wednesday, and they only have one other padded practice for the rest of the season. I think that the new collective bargaining agreement. They have 11 practice. They have one.
Oh, I thought it was one a week.
Practice for the first 11 weeks. Then for the rest of the season after week 11, they have four padded practices.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
Yeah, so we've got 2 already in the books. They're putting, actually no, it's 3. So you get 3 padded practices. So they only have 1 more padded practice left. So. He's putting. I fully believe that the focus and everything is focused on getting this number 1 seed.
Yeah.
And getting the first round bye. If you're going to do that, then it's full sellout this week. I mean, I'm looking for Gronk to increase his snap count. I mean, if they open up a 30-point lead, then the conversation expands. But until there's a major lead, and I'm talking like a 30-point lead, I fully expect Bill Belichick to have the gas pedal down.
Do you think they're going to be running Bolden between the tackles? I mean, is that what we're looking at?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Dude, to go back, this kid was a horse in college. He's 15, 20 carry back in college.
Hulk smash.
Yeah. And he's going to mix it up, dude. James White's going to get 5 to 7 carries now.
Right.
Old boy's only going to have to carry at 15.
I mean, I honestly, I feel like I have a little hope in this Monty Ball thing. I do.
Yeah.
I think
you got to temper those expectations.
I think
we're talking about a guy that's driving a UPS truck this week.
He got cut by the Niners, I believe, right? They brought him in. He was about 240. This is a guy that came in the league about 205, 210 out of Wisconsin when he was a player.
Yeah, he came in the league 215. He's probably sitting at about 230 right now. But I do think he's got he was played with White at Wisconsin. They were roommates. I think it's a second chance type of scenario, and I think the Patriots always capitalize on second chance players. And I think he might have a little bit of motivation here.
There's going to be another name in the running back. There's going to be another name. If the Patriots make a run to the Super Bowl, and knock on wood, hopefully they do, there has got to be a third name besides James White and Brandon Bolden. There's got to be someone else that fits in there. So if it's Monte Ball, it's Monte Ball. I mean, he kind of fits the shadow of LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah, of course, a banger. And they must think something of him because they got rid of Trey Williams. They've let him go. So that's it. So you wouldn't just dump Trey Williams, right?
Yeah. Well, we were talking about that earlier. Did we dump Trey Williams and then re-sign him to the practice squad, or is he gone?
He's gone.
Okay.
They released him and picked up Leonard Hankerson.
Oh,
okay.
Boom.
There we go.
You know what else they picked up? Kevin Snyder, linebacker, another Rutgers product.
Yes.
And, one thing I am excited about, and I think it happened a couple weeks ago, is Greg Schiano getting back in the college ranks. I believe we were calling for this around week 6.
Way to go.
A new farm for the Patriots.
Gotta love it. He's like associate head coach at Ohio State. So
I
keep
thought he was
winning
defensive
titles.
coordinator, no?
Is that what he is?
I thought, no?
Yeah, he's something and associate head coach, You know how they like to give that. I think it's
Right.
a better
They don't want to
title.
insult him.
Yeah, exactly. Because, that is kind of a step down for the dude. He should have been, with all the programs that are looking for coaches right now, he could have stepped
plus,
in.
I don't think it necessarily works to Belichick's advantage for him to be at Ohio State. I think,
We
not
need a
big,
smaller school.
Yeah, smaller school.
So you get the diamond in the rough.
Because that's what they're always looking for. These kids that
Rutgers was perfect.
Patriots like players with chips on their shoulders. And they capitalize on that a lot. And so it's coming from Kent State. It's coming from Elkhorn. It's West Alabama, Butler. You know what I mean?
Central Michigan.
Who's out of Central?
I don't know.
Oh.
Dan Molly.
That's cool.
The Chippewas. The Chippewas. Nice, dude. You know who's a graduate of Kent State?
Yes, Mr. Edelman.
Also missed a newly acquired Kitchen.
Who's
been in a few of those.
At practice today, running routes.
Limited practice.
No.
Limited practice.
Passes.
Can we at least hold off on that a little bit, or do we have to rush him back too?
No,
I think he's coming back. You might see him on the Sunday. I'm telling you right now.
No way.
No way.
Okay, we'll see.
That'd be amazing.
hold the
We'll give him
phones.
some props. If I can see him week 17 for a little warm-up game for the playoffs, I'd like that. That's all. That's what I'm holding
I
out
would
hope.
not be surprised to see number 11 out there.
I mean, the
Ross
kid's
this
an
weekend.
animal. There's no doubt about that.
I
And he's
hope,
tough.
honestly, I hope I don't see him out
You
there
know when he
Sunday.
can rest? He can rest when they have the bye week. Lee, can
Next
you
week.
back me up there?
That's it. That's it.
You got my.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
there you go.
Lee's
Lee. Bob Lee. I feel like maybe we're on deck for Inside the Lines. You know?
Yeah.
We have Bob and Lee here, but not Bob Lee.
yeah.
That's it. Good night, everybody. Oh, man. So, Steven Jackson, I would love for them to be able to get,
Some juice out of him?
that Fred Taylor type, one more season,
He could not take warm-ups without pulling a hamstring. When he was in Atlanta, it was ugly.
Hey,
I mean, it was
they don't
brutal.
have the strength and conditioning guys we got, and the masseuses here
Okay.
at
Jim
the
McNally.
#1 program here in the NFL, New England Patriots.
How about Tom Brady only getting hit 3 times this week?
They cleaned that up.
They
didn't
cleaned that up a little bit.
Is that all it was? Because it
3
seemed a
times.
lot more than that.
3 times.
Wow.
Well, you didn't count the illegal hit by
JJ
JJ.
Watt?
Yeah.
And
But speaking of which, they had a great game plan for JJ Watts and D Hops.
Yes.
Because, I mean, they put the double team on JJ Watt and they put the double team on DeAndre Hopkins, and they decided that they were going to shut down their 2 top players, and they did it.
And that's Belichick's MO. And just in case you didn't know it, you probably would have known if you watched the telecast Sunday night, because Collinsworth said it about 7 times about, if you're a stop play, you're not going to beat Bill Belichick. He shuts down the stop plays and all that stuff. So
How about when he got on that, they're up by 14 points, and it was like all of a sudden the Patriots going to be like lost in the statistical nightmare.
Oh, I
Every
know.
time they go up by 14 points,
Yeah.
the special teams are going to fall apart, and they're going to have a brain aneurysm, and everyone's going to come back.
well,
it seemed like he was
He
rooting
annoys
for
me
that.
to no end.
Oh, yeah, big time.
I thought it was interesting this week. NBC did the broadcast this week, and Fox did the broadcast last week, and it was kind of interesting to see the 2 different production styles. You had Michelle Tafoya on the sidelines this week with NBC, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth. I'm not a Chris Collinsworth fan, but Al Michaels, I mean,
Legend.
great legend. And
You
it was,
believe in miracles? I mean,
that's right.
you dye that hair, you can work in this business for like 50 years.
it was, she was actually given quality information.
She's good.
She was telling about McCourty's.
You don't like Saragusa, is what you're getting to.
I mean, that. I know that the game is a game of ups and downs. Okay, and that's pretty much what I got the takeaway from his.
Yeah.
You got some wardrobe tips in there.
Yeah. I mean, the men's XL warehouse has got a sale going on. That's what it got.
We were talking about this earlier, and it really just stems from the fact that Michelle Tafoya is a reporter. So reporters know how to get in there and get the story. Meanwhile, Syracuse is just, I'm giving the old guy, the man on the street routine, like from the end zone. Once I jerk back this turkey leg, hold on. give me a
Tafoya is
sec.
doing like her profession. Saragusa is just,
Right.
yeah.
Speaking of poorly dressed people, I mean, I love the defense, but Matt Patricia, I mean, buddy, I love you guys. You're like 1 year from like really being a serious head coaching candidate, but something's got to happen there. There's a lot of red. It's a little bit like a Conley gone bad situation there.
I mean, that might explain why I love the guy.
I mean, he's a mad genius. I get that, but clearly, no, a mad genius when it comes to the style and coordination
Is that where we're
department.
separating from Conley here?
Possibly.
Because I have excellent style choices.
Or mad genius?
Yeah. Oh, wow, that hurts.
They call it like a Fred Smurless style.
By the way,
Smelly.
I think I spotted a Fitbit on Belichick's wrist in the game.
Really?
Yeah.
You sure that wasn't an iWatch?
Well, I think it was a Fitbit.
Maybe it goes with his the pads that they. You know what I mean?
Pads.
Well, he does
You know
like
how he's
he
got the
does like
plays
his
and all that?
treadmill. I think he's counting
He
the
does-
steps.
yeah, he
I
might
think
be
he's
counting the steps.
I think, as fans of this incredible team, and lifetime fans, Kev, we have to, on this
Oh, I'm sorry.
program.
Am I not a lifetime fan?
No,
Oh.
you are.
Okay.
But, I was just commenting on his
He wanted
Patricia.
to catch my attention.
His Patricia
Oh,
stuff.
Patricia.
Okay.
He's stuck on Patricia.
No,
He
well,
doesn't
I
like to
just
make
I
fun
just
of his
think
buddy.
we don't give this guy pointers on how to get a head coaching job.
Exactly.
We say, stay the course.
Yeah.
Maybe trim the sleeves back on the hoodie a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Keep wearing all red.
Yeah. Perfect.
And then two-tone pants.
We'll take
something.
We'll take it. Stay badly dressed and a monster on defense.
Yeah, the guy
in the room.
He's doing pretty well. He can just stay right where whatever he's doing, it's working.
I like it. I like it.
Don't shave the beard. Keep it going.
No.
Speaking of large men wearing red, we saw Big Vince out there. He was pretty much neutralized.
He had a couple good plays, but I think that's kind of Vince's MO these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is obviously why we got rid of him in the perfect time.
Oh, you know what that made me think of when you were talking about Gronk not wanting to high five Brady? His throwing hand was, you know who was really looking to high five Brady at the end of the game?
Oh, chasing him around.
That was hilarious. And I think Brady knows.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because he kind of froze out Sherman at the end of the Super Bowl, too. Remember that?
He's like the royalty of the NFL. So everybody wants a piece. Like, hey, we're in the same club, right? Brady's like, no, I'm in a club of myself.
Right.
Y'all have to knock, and I'll decide whether I answer the door.
In my Ugg boots.
Yeah.
I got my Uggs on.
Yeah.
It's just a special little clubhouse where him, Mark Wahlberg, and Donald Trump are just kind of chilling and hanging out.
Did you get those specifically because you the host of Pats Wrap 360?
Well, actually,
Tom gave those out to the team.
He sent them to me, actually.
Yeah, because he sent
I'm
them
part
out
of
to
that
the
club.
You are in that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's nice.
4 pairs, you know what I mean? A piece per man of Ugg
What's
boots.
this? Isotoners? Oh, Ugg boots?
No, this is not Dan
Dan
Marino.
Marino?
No.
Nice. You got to take the care of the feet that take care of you, evidently. So that's that. I mean, that's good that the offensive line is kind of moving in the right direction, you know, because that was the biggest kind of flag for me after last week, you know, because it was like 3 straight weeks of him getting hit double digits.
Did they?
And that was the first time that happened in his career, I think.
Right. Did they take care of it, or did he? You know, I think he was back averaging 2.17 seconds release again, and he didn't throw to Brandon LaFell. So you know,
having Gronk out there, you can throw it in 2.1. So
yeah, I mean, let's see. You know, I think a lot of the offensive line helping the run. So let's see if what pans out there. You know,
open up as a 15.5 point favorite over Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in Foxborough?
I mean, they got whooped by the Jets last week, 38. I mean, I never like high spreads like that.
Marcus Mariota is probably going to have some real issues dealing with what Bill Belichick's going to throw at him.
No question. I always like Belichick versus a young quarterback. You know, and like that being said, Mariota's been great this year.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And I think there was a lot of kind of talk earlier, towards the end of last year and the beginning of this year with like Brady and Manning getting older and stuff. They were starting to talk about, you know, maybe the quarterback position kind of being in a downturn, you know, but with the performances of Winston this year and Mariota and the emergence of Bortles and Derek Carr, it seems like it's kind of in good hands, you know? And Brady's going to play 10 more years. So, I mean, it should be in good shape.
Russell Wilson? He's going off right now.
Yeah, he is.
Cam Newton.
Well, because they got to a position that when they didn't force the ball to Jimmy Graham anymore, so he's spreading it around in that, you know, offense.
Johnny
Lee
Manziel.
loves the dab, by the way. Lee, can you give me a dab? Yes. That's a dab. I haven't seen one.
Why are you guys dabbing? They're going to lose, by the way, this week. Panthers.
I don't want them to lose. I want them to go for the same reason I wanted the Patriots to lose a game. I don't want Carolina to win. And everyone's complaining about them running around on the field and celebrate. No,
keep it up.
Celebrate, man. Yeah. Run around, throw it in everybody's face, get everybody all pissed off at you. Yeah. Go for it. Give the balls away to everybody.
Because you want to see them undefeated in the big game.
I want to see the big crocodile tears on Cam.
Yeah.
This is a long season. Yeah. There's a big story that needs to be filled out.
I think those crocodile tears are going to be coming in the NFC Championship game. So
I like that.
You know, we might not even.
Get the
So I'm not worried about. Yeah, I fully believe that team is going to run out of gas. The slipper will fall.
Yeah, I mean they just. Yeah, I hear you. I agree.
I mean, but
great team, great
defense.
Who in the NFC beats them?
Arizona.
Packers, maybe?
Yeah, Arizona. Yeah, Arizona, that's a good call.
I like Arizona a lot.
Seattle.
I feel like the
Seattle.
wheels are a little bit off on the Packers. The wheels are
They are, but
they kind of
again,
righted
they're
the ship a little bit this week.
You know what I mean? They righted the ship, and they're a team that's been in there, and they're one of those teams, like the Pittsburgh Steelers this week, who are up against Denver, who we really need a win against.
Mm-hmm.
That
Steelers.
I don't want to play the Steelers. I don't want to play the Packers.
That's why I'm torn on that. I might be rooting for Denver this week.
Right.
Get Pittsburgh out of there.
No, we got to get on the same page here. We got to get on the same page.
I'm telling you, man.
There was one focus this week. That is the #1 seed. How did the New England Patriots get the #1 seed? They beat the Tennessee Titans.
The Steelers beat the Broncos.
That's it. There's another scenario, and that is if Cincinnati loses to the 49ers and Denver somehow ties.
Boom. I'll take door number 2.
Okay? But
Well, you could take door number 3. The Broncos win. The Steelers lose next week, right?
Right.
Is that door 3? Can we
Boom.
take door 3?
I like that.
Yeah.
But, this is probably going to be the Steelers' toughest game to finish the season is going to be Denver. So if there's a chance for them to lose one, it's going to be
Yeah.
that.
I mean, look, the Denver could use another loss, So
But when you look at the AFC, especially now with the situation in Cincinnati with Dalton going down,
right.
what team scares you?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I mean, Broncos are 2, though.
Do they?
yes.
I mean, kind of if you have to play at the Broncos, but I guess. But in a playoff game, I think we're going to get to Osweiler, and if Peyton's back, all the better. That guy can't. Kubiak's offense is like all based around a quarterback that can run the bootleg, and you have a dude out there that can't even step on one of his feet, and he's going to do it.
Oh yeah, I don't think
I love it.
I don't think you're going to see Peyton back. Do you?
There's talk about it. The dude's at practice throwing winging balls around. And Osweiler didn't light the world on fire this past week. So it's like, if there's a crack in the door that's open, they're going to have Peyton walk right through it.
That situation alone is hurting the Broncos and their run to the playoffs.
Yes.
They got a
big time.
quarterback
Yes.
situation.
They have a quarterback situation. It's not a controversy, but it's a situation.
Yeah,
If I were them, I would stick with Osweiler.
I would too.
But Peyton's going to want to play next year, and he's going to end up going to the Saints. And Drew Brees is going to end up with the Dolphins.
Well, you get this all.
I got this all roundabout, and Kaepernick's going to end up with the Eagles. I got it all figured out. There's going to be a huge, because Brees is going to the Dolphins in a package deal with Sean Payton.
Brees is going to say again.
Wait, did you get that?
Brees
down?
is a huge cap number for the Saints next year, like $30 million.
Okay.
So before March 11th or whatever, they have to decide to let him go or whatever, and then something like $12 million of that's guaranteed. So shortly after free agency starts, they're going to have a decision to make. I think that decision is going to be to part ways and start again. And I think Peyton and Drew Brees will resurface.
Is there a team in LA
South
next
Florida.
year? And who's the quarterback?
Chargers. Phillip Rivers.
I don't think Phillip Rivers comes with the Chargers.
He's
to
been
LA.
saying that, but I don't know.
Why wouldn't he come? What choice
He doesn't like
have?
LA.
Yeah.
He's a family man.
And plus, I think he's
Plenty of room for his bolo tie.
I think he's itching to get out of that organization. I don't think he's. They haven't
Quite
exactly,
frankly, really, who cares what he's itching to do?
You know what? Personally, I don't want to see the Chargers come to LA.
Yeah.
I think you got to get used to that.
Really?
Chargers and Raiders are coming.
I kind of.
Cincinnati's going to pull a last-minute deal.
I wanted to see Rams and
Me
Raiders.
too.
Not Cincinnati, St. Louis. I'm
Rams.
sorry.
But the Chargers were in LA at one time, so.
Well, how about we we'll keep the Patriots there, right? Or maybe Patriots Part 2 or something, bring them out here.
Pump the brakes.
Bring Houston
Yeah.
out here with Bill
Gillette.
O'Brien.
For life. Kidding me?
I'd like to go to
Maybe
the-
Hartford if they go anyplace. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Kraft saved it.
Transport back in the thing
Did Kraft
17 years
save him,
ago.
or did he just change his decision?
Change his decision.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think there was just like a case of,
Oh wait, let me get myself a good deal here.
right.
I'm
Let me
threatening.
leverage.
Yeah.
By the way,
touchdown.
Southie, you really won that battle by not allowing the Patriots to come in and build a stadium.
Yes.
You guys definitely won that battle. Good thing you don't have a stadium in Southie right now.
Yes,
'Cause
that would be horrible.
the mall that they have that you have to go through to get into the stadium wouldn't do you guys any good. Good work fighting.
Is that the
forcing
South Bay Mall? Or
No, the
yeah.
Victoria's
Patriot
Secrets.
Place.
Yeah, Patriot Place. Sorry, I didn't correct.
No,
you
I
know.
got you now.
I'm sure Shirley that lives on East Street couldn't work at the Victoria's Secret's there. She couldn't get a job there, right? That's not for you. Sully, he couldn't be there. Triple D still needs to stay open.
Oh my word!
God forbid that we had a stadium in South Boston.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing, and I'm glad we're still in Fenway too. I mean that would have been unheard of. When they were talking about building that stadium.
Big Habs Bruins at Gillette coming up soon, right?
Well, January 1st. Yeah. Let's rein it back in here and get to football.
Okay.
Sorry. But talk to me about the Titans. 15.5-point favorites.
Dick
You're
LeBeau,
laying the points. Dick LeBeau.
defensive coordinator, former Steelers longtime coach. Could have a couple things rolled up his sleeve for Tom Brady. Tom Brady always has good days against Dick LeBeau defenses, though, seems to have.
I would like that to continue. But, yeah, Bill Belichick was all about Dick LeBeau in his press conference today, lauding him for his
and he also said
being
that
a lifer.
the Titans have an explosive offense.
I noticed that. We haven't heard that since the
Last
Giants
week.
from like 4 weeks ago.
Last week.
You know?
Explosive
He
offense. We're so up against an explosive offense this week with
Lee,
a
we
Dick
keeping you
LeBeau.
up over there?
No,
I just I caught a yawn from Lee.
Yeah.
Oh.
We can't have that, Lee.
no, I was just getting some.
Bob's barely awake.
Luckily, most of our viewers are audio only, so they didn't see that.
Okay.
But you
I
you
spotted
did
it.
call it
Let
out.
the cat
Nice
out of
job.
the bag.
That's a great job, Kev. Great job. I was gonna let you get away with it, Lee. I know how tiresome Jason can be. He just gets to talking. Boom. But so Titans, I mean, they have some good young players. I mean, Antonio Andrews is a little nice piece. Delanie Walker is a nice piece. He had a lot of good things to say about him today. Belichick did. Did you see how Belichick ended his press conference today?
Yeah, drop the microphone.
Right? So awesome. I kind of feel bad for Mike Reese sometimes because he's like, just trying to like coax out that last little bit of information. He's like, nah, we're going to finish on the high note.
See you later.
Exit stage left. Oh, boy.
That's great.
The special teams definitely rebounded. It was definitely
Slater had a great game.
Slater had a nice game.
Right back in the saddle to stay in theme. He had a huge like a punt recovery, like downing in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And then he had a huge tackle in the second half.
That downing, I think it was in the second quarter, and that was huge. And that was like because the Pats kind of played the field position game on that one. They had a punt, they pinned him deep, and then they got him going to 3 and out.
Yeah.
Martin had a nice little return, puts him around the 40, and then they were able to score that touchdown before the end of the half, and then score again a field goal at the right. And they do a good. They love that,
Love
man,
that.
and that's why they defer. And the obviously the TV guys have picked up on it too because they
Yep.
always put up that stat of like since 2009 they have been able to do that 15 times or something like that.
So that's to do with the weighted coins, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
the cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. CoinGate.
No, I mean, there was that going on for us.
It
I
was
started for a hot minute.
For a minute, they were
Like
complaining about the amount of coin
times
tosses that the Pats
Patriots
won.
won.
Really?
Yeah. It was
It is
bubbling
phenomenal.
Up. It was
I
bubbling
mean,
up.
they do win at pretty much everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't think they're doing it fair and square. You got to call them out for cheating evidently.
Is
I got a stat I want to throw by you.
1980?
I got a stat I want to throw by you.
That may just look like a phone, but I'll tell you what. You go like this. That's a keyboard right there. Full keyboard. Look at that.
Flashback
That was
to 1997.
That was revolutionary in '97,
Right?
buddy. Yeah.
Boom.
LeGarrette Blount,
You got one of these, Lee?
165
Makes phone calls.
rush attempts.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Second behind LeGarrette Blount, Dion Lewis, 49. Who's third behind those?
I know. Oh, who's third?
Yeah.
Dion Lewis.
Tom Brady, 28. There's
Oh,
a
boy.
problem. There's a
With
problem.
Rushing yards?
Yeah.
Is that
No,
what
rushing attempts.
Okay.
Okay? Rushing attempts. Our top 2 running backs for rushing attempts,
They're gone.
gone.
Brandon Bolden is going to be serviceable. The only thing I shy away from is that you
No, I like Brandon Bolden.
Okay.
I think he's gonna be serviceable, but we need to replace that heavy banger, that blunt banger. Like someone who could just beat down that interior.
Brandon Bolden goes about 215. I mean, he can bang it up in there. It's a grown man.
Okay.
The
Okay.
the
Can
thing
he take the
the
can
thing
he take
I'm,
the abuse?
I'm a little bit worried about is he is a great special teamer for us.
Yeah.
And so now that's going to kind of take away from his gig on that.
Well, that's why, I mean, like, listen,
Keyshawn Martin.
there's only three.
Slide in there, Keyshawn.
There's only 3 running backs on the roster right now.
2.
So, 3.
2.
Well, practice squad. Okay, yeah, you're right. 2. But with Monty Ball in the wings, I mean, you have to at least try.
You really need to temper the Monty Ball expectations.
You're going to need somebody there. In the playoffs, you're going to need somebody there.
You're going to need to temper that for now.
He's not going to be on the 53 this week.
I know.
In the playoffs. We may see we're going to see some other acquisitions coming in.
You got to.
But there could be something there, Monty. I mean, the guy was a second-round pick. You know,
Dude,
when he was in shape at
Only
Wisconsin, he
2
was
years
breaking
ago.
Ron Dane's records
He
and
had
stuff.
he had a pretty good rookie season. He just got hurt last year.
Not a lot of luck with running backs coming out of Wisconsin. Wisconsin. Kind of like Penn State running backs.
Well, they
Back in the day?
abused him. He had almost 2,000 yards in his junior and senior year.
Yeah.
So, and then he had a decent rookie year. He just got hurt last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we hate him. We haven't given him a chance.
I think he averaged like 4 yards a carry.
I
It's
just
only about 170 carries, but that's his NFL career. It is what it is.
No, I mean, I'm glad picking him up. You know, I think, hey, you know, anybody who comes into the Patriot way has had some failures. You know,
telling
wants to
you,
do good.
The trick
Belichick shows him the way.
the chip on the shoulder, second chance players.
Yeah.
He's hungry. You want hungry players.
You had Monty Ball on
He's been
pretty
feeding
much
that
every
hunger.
fantasy team that you've ever had. Doesn't mean he's going to come in and make all your bad decisions in the past go away.
This kid has one good fantasy season. He's
When did that happen? When did one good fantasy season
It's
happen?
not happening right now?
Oh,
No.
boy.
Okay.
Oh, boy. So we got the Titans this week in Foxborough.
Yeah.
And then we're not looking ahead, but just for my own well-being. Then we got 2 road games versus Jets in Miami.
Jets, Miami.
Or Jets is at home. Miami's on the road. I'm almost positive, right?
Man.
We always play that one of those late games in Miami for all the
Let's check
hooligans
the
to go down
worldwide
there and go
web.
do that. I mean, it gave you that Hankerson tip.
And by the way, can we just?
Yeah.
Oh, he wants to go back
It's
to
a good pick.
Hankinson.
I mean,
Yeah.
is it not? Are you not a little bit excited about that? I mean, I am, but
Well,
move on.
what's
Okay,
the IR
I'm
thing,
more
though?
excited
Is he
about. I'm
on-
more excited about that than Monty Ball, but I won't talk about it because apparently you guys.
No, let's sell me on Leonard Hankerson. He's never really blown up my skirt.
Well, he was the second. He was the second wide receiver on the Atlanta Falcons behind Julio Jones. I mean,
And
he's had
somehow he's...
he's had like 100 yards receiving in at least one game
Is
this
this
year.
this the same Atlanta Falcons team that's dropped 7 out of their last 8?
Which is, guess what? He's not on the Atlanta Falcons. He's on the New England Patriots.
He got cut from the Falcons.
They're getting their doors blown
We're
off.
bringing in Atlanta Falcons cast-offs. Hankerson, Steven Jackson, and
Well,
they're going to
that's what
contribute.
injury does. Like, look at what.
No, I
look
hear you.
what the
There's nobody
Patriots
out
done.
there.
It's been a
Jamal
roster
Anderson's
that's
coming
been.
next.
I'm surprised they didn't sign Ray Rice.
Dirty Bird it?
Dirty Bird it.
No,
Ray
no
Rice?
Ray Rice, no.
No.
I mean, Ray Rice would still be in the league if, he could play. There's going to be no shortage of teams to look for.
Well,
but
that's
you
why-
look at his yards per carry, they went down his last 3 seasons in the league.
I mean, look, anyone you pick up right now, you're not going to be blown away by. It's just, I mean, the well's pretty dry out there with all the injuries that have happened and been picked up off of free agency. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not overly excited about Monty Ball, but, like, what else is out there? We got to find
Christine
something.
Michael, the guy was like
He's
stealing
done.
underwear.
He's sold.
Yeah.
He's back in Seattle.
Back in Seattle.
Like,
An old friend just signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
who? Jonas?
Fred Jackson.
His name's Jonas.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, he's been passed around more times than.
So
He has.
it's kind of interesting to watch this this team kind of play this transaction world a lot lately.
And they do have the money to
juggling
kind of
the
play
roster.
the game. I think they have like a $2 to $3 million cap space to go out and kind of spend, which is another great Belichick kind of move that he
Right.
keeps the space and allows himself to kind of go and do that. I mean, some teams do get themselves into trouble and don't have that space.
And that's when you're allowed to come in and pluck a Jabal Sheard from said team. Click. And I can't wait to see who he's going to pluck some gems this offseason, too. It's going to be great. Because especially with all the coaching changes and stuff, then you get philosophies that change, the teams that are going from a 4-3 to 3-4, and then
Yes.
these guys just become
A
available.
lot of the defensive guys, because he can see them.
He sees them.
He sees the diamonds
You
like
know?
none of us can.
That's why I'm like, I tell Jay all every week, I'm like, I don't just draft offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and cornerbacks.
Tight ends.
And a quarterback when you need it. I guess, but I think you can find them.
But how are you
Dude,
going to...
Scott Chandler. We
good
found
luck.
him.
Good luck having a conversation with Sir Bill Belichick and convincing him not to draft another tight end. I mean, he seems to be a little fixated.
Otherwise, we're on the same page.
There's a reason.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, he's been... he got the best tight end to ever do it, right in the fold right now. So I can see why you would be enamored with that position. But it's a once-in-a-lifetime player, or once-in-a-generation player, we should say. But I'm excited with him back in the fold, obviously. And, as long as we have him, number 12, and Belichick, we're in good shape. What else is on that yellow pad of yours, Kev?
By the way,
I got all kinds of interesting stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah.
By the way, we're at Jets, at Dolphins.
At Jets, at Dolphins. Okay.
Yeah.
So this week is our final day in Foxborough. Whew. Interesting.
Take care of business, like Kevin says.
Tom Brady, smallest output for pass yards of the season this week, which was kind of odd because I thought he felt like he had a pretty good game, but that was his
The hot rod
output.
seemed to think he was going to wing it around. I remember in the Rodney Harrison.
Yeah, he said they were going to come out and throw like 50 times.
Yeah.
But then when you kind of looked at the stats, I think Texans were like 4th or 5th in pass defense, and then their run D was like terrible.
Right.
So he's going to come out and,
Guys, why don't you tell the folks out there listening your Twitter handles, and they can give us some feedback on Twitter. Or you guys can hit us up on YouTube in the comment section. We're also available on iTunes to listen to. Go ahead, Jay.
At J, letter J, Cherella, Cherella.
At Kevin F. Finn, Finn, for Twitter. And Lee, where are you at on Twitter?
Twitter.
I'm right here on the bench.
Yeah.
Okay,
There you go.
right there.
I love it. All right, well, I think that wraps it up for Kevin Finn and the Cherellas. I'm Mike Conley. This has been another edition of Patriots Wrap 360.
Yes, sir.
Go
Pats.
Pats. Beat the Titans.
Yes.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.